welcome back to my channel. So today is Fashion and Beauty Fridays. Our overall topic this week has been names. So we talked about the different names and character of God. We talked about our personal names, my family's personal names and how they were named. My mom ended up watching and she had me laughing because I was like, I don't really have nicknames, and I totally forgot. Like my parents called me Pumpkin, and she was like, you ain't put that name in there. And I'm like, oh boy, like I totally forgot. Like every once in a while she'll still call me that, and my great nieces will laugh and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of the only nickname that I permit, and I still kind of raise a little eyebrow when my mom calls me that. I'm like, I'm grown, married with 2 kids, like but that name came from Punky Brewster. It's hard for me to say that, but it was like it was a show around the time that I was like younger. You'll know it if you're in your 30s. So that was the only name that I missed on Lifestyle Wednesdays. But today, let's talk about names and brands connected to fashion and beauty. So I guess it would be a good start to start with my brand before we talk about other brands. The name of my company, as you know, because you clicked on my channel, is Deeva Fleet. But originally, my company was just Deeva. The company wasn't called just Deeva. It was Deeva. And if you notice, Deeva I spell with 2 E's. So the original word diva, it was for principal singers or opera singers, basically the best of the company as far as in the music industry, specifically for females. So at the time it would be called a prima donna, which was like the principal singer, or you may have heard that term when it comes to dancers. So the principal singer is the best singer. If you heard the saying, like, it's not over till the fat lady sings, where usually that opera was not over until that diva sung, because she could hit the highest note, and she just kind of brought down the house. So at the time that I started my company, if you were in the plus size industry, a woman of color, there's so many companies with diva in there. Like, so I was like, oh, I really want to use diva, but like everybody's using diva. And it's like almost people were playing on like more of the negative connotation. And I just really wasn't with that. That's not my attitude. I was like, I really saw where the name came from, these very talented women that I thought were very awesome. They were able to obtain a level of wealth at that time that women just weren't able to. Like, you could see, like, it's even in the Black community where these amazing singers were able to travel the world at a time where, in their own homes, like it was in their own, in the US, it was so segregated and things like that. And they were able to go to all these other countries and sing and had a level of wealth and able to help their communities and help their families and stuff like that. So I always thought that was so amazing, these divas. And you can also see where the negative comes from sometimes with, the demanding attitudes or being difficult to work with. But sometimes I filtered through that, because at that time, being a woman with that level of wealth and that level of talent, being able to say what you want and not just go with whatever anybody told you, yes, that would make you difficult to work with. But I didn't really see that as a negative. I know that it can get out there, and I'm not for that, and I'm not speaking to that. But for me, I just really love that, they were able to speak up. And I actually love that in my customers, to be very clear of what they like and what they don't like. And that never bothered me, even as a brand owner. So I really wanted to do that, but the way to make it different, I ended up talking to my nephew. He was like, well, your name is, your name has a E, not an I, so we'll just do that with Deeva. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And then when I looked into it, there were other brands. I think it was like a hair salon a hair place that spelled Deeva with the E. And my brother was helping me design it, so we ended up coming up with like putting 2 E's in Deeva, because anybody that the nickname that people will call me is D, so it's Dee. So he put it in there, and then when I got with my graphic artist, Asar, like he refined it to where my logo and my name would be connected. So if you look at my logo, it's a beautiful woman, a beautiful curvy woman with Deeva across her bust. So I think that I went from Deeva when I was developing I was doing custom clothes for plus size women, and then I went to Hello Deeva because it was still very difficult, even with 2 E's, to get websites and different things like that. So I went to Hello Deeva, which really spoke to like my interaction, and I've always loved interacting with my clients. And then me and my husband were driving, and I wanted to get more into retail than just custom designs. And we were talking, and then I got this vision of like these women dressed beautifully in these dresses with gloves, and like getting into vans and cars all wrapped with the logo. And it was like these beauty fleets. It was these style fleets that were going out with the style boxes. And so I was just like, wow, I'm gonna keep the name Deeva for the retail style platform, but I wanted to add fleet to really show how I really want the brand to grow and to add that level of convenience for my clients. So it's grown from there. Of course, now I'm doing more media, just different ways. The more I can interact with my client base, the better product that I'm able to make, and of course the level of service that I want to have. So eventually I want to have a huge distribution center where all the style boxes will leave from. Also a hub where I'm able to continue to do media and create like that style platform, but also what's going into the boxes, being able to create a creative workspace for women that would almost act as an incubator, even for startup businesses, where they can come in, have space. I remember when I used to sew in my mom at my parents' house. It was in the kids' room. We were all in one room, and I had to wait till they leave and unfold the table and sew. And so having that space where women can really thrive, even having a space like for their children, that they know somewhere safe where their children are being watched while they're creating, and being able to create, though, go from just idea to concept to actual product or services, and then having a retail space for those services to go out and for them to grow, as well as the products that they're putting in our boxes. So I really want to get in on the ground floor of a lot of these creatives, women that are coming up with products and services that I really want to get it out of their recipe boxes, out of their journals, like to really create those things that can ultimately help our community and our nation and the globe as a whole. So that is really my brand. That's really what it encompasses. That level of excellence, that level of creativity, and eventually that level of wealth as a diva, and that's Deeva. So that's my brand, Deeva Fleet. But let's talk about some other brands. So some of the things with names of brands immediately would be status. And I know a lot of people kind of, when I ask them, oh, well, what brand do you like, when I'm sitting in consultations, people kind of pull back because they associate having like a particular brand you like as snobby sometimes, or just being, just kind of, I don't know. I think sometimes, even when I was helping my husband, he was just like, I'm just not really into fashion like that, or I don't want to spend all my money, or just all of that. And I was like, well, it doesn't have to be that. So knowing brand names is not exclusively to status. Now, I can say that, of course, what you see in magazines and different things like that, they're coming from a place sometimes of status. They're marketing certain things. You see a rise of it even in purses and stuff like that. You went from just a few brands kind of putting their logo all over to now just about every brand has a particular purse or shoe or some item that has their logo all over it. So people carry that and they become billboards for these companies. And in exchange, they kind of get this level of status to say, look at what I'm able to purchase or whatever. So you see a rise of that. And so for some people, that's that's like a very negative thing for them. But there are some good things to knowing a name or a brand that you like, because remember, we talked about even on Monday, it really shows the characteristics of a particular brand to have a certain name. So some of the things that are really good to know, other than status, some people like status. Some people like to make it known that they have a level of wealth, or really not even wealth, richness, because people that I know with wealth tend to wear stuff that don't really have a lot of labels on it, or you really wouldn't know. So having a certain name sometimes includes a certain cut. So with clothing and stuff like that, once you find, I know people that they know the type of jeans that they wear, and it is really hard to get them to even try another pair of jeans because they love the way it's cut, it fits, and they're good. The same with like undergarments. Some people have a particular cut that they like and they roll with it. So it's really good to find that, and it makes your shopping easier, to just know like, oh, this is what I get. Usually this is the size that I'm in, and you can like go in and make your shopping experience a lot quicker. So knowing the cut of the particular brand that you have, that's something that could be a benefit to you. Another thing is styles, especially, well, I can't say especially with makeup, but now you're really seeing like people are really honing in the makeup brand and in their fashion brands to know like, this is what we bring you, this is our particular style. And it really helps you, like, if you're starting to see a lot with foundation brands. You're starting to see where in the past some of these brands and their name were more connected to selling to basically women that weren't women of color, but now you see the level of buying power of women in color. So you're starting to see a lot of these foundations, they went from maybe having like 5 shades to having like 50, 20, 25 shades of foundation, because they are now recognizing that it really helps within their style to connect to that larger audience. But kind of knowing what that style is, sometimes it's for that, it would be for foundation, it would be like those various of colors. Sometimes it's even in eyeshadow palettes. Like, I know some brands that I'll go to if I know that I want like that color payoff that are very colorful, and there's certain eyeshadow palettes that I have because I know it's like that good everyday, crease color, brow color, just something very neutral. So kind of knowing the style. And like I said before, it helps. Like a company, like let's say New York and Company, that, you're going to find good slacks, a nice blouse. You find a lot of good, like basic wardrobe pieces. So knowing like those companies and their style, because it just makes it a lot easier when you're shopping to just flow if a company kind of flows in that style. The other thing is sales, and I've talked about this in another video, so to keep this video short, please go and check out my sales, fashion, and beauty video, and I go in more detail on sales. But once you know a name brand, it's really easier to track, like where their sales at, when they have sales, when they get new merchandise, when they're trying to get rid of merchandise. Like, so once you know that name brand, then that's another thing. But go and check out that video if you wanted more on that. And then the other thing is service. Like, service is really big to people. Like, there's so many products out now. There's so many different platforms that you can buy those products on. But sometimes knowing a certain name brand, like, I know that this is not beauty or fashion, but if I say Chick-fil-A, you know, it immediately brings up, like, I know I'm gonna get good service. You know, like, they call you by name. They say, like, my pleasure. They're willing to give you, like, whatever. They're willing to go the extra mile to make it as convenient for their customers as possible. So you see that level of service. So people don't care about paying as much because they know that name comes with a certain level of service. So you see that even in fashion at, you know, certain retail stores are known for, like, not so good service. So, and you see that certain people may not even go in there unless their prices are heavily discounted, or you've been into some discount retailers that you know the service is not going to be as great. Like, everything is not going to be neatly put on the rags. You know, you may not get greeted, or, you know, someone may not offer you a beverage, or just different things like that. So there are different levels of service even in the beauty and fashion industry as well. So those are some of the things. A tip that I will give is, if you don't know a particular brand that you like, try a department store first, because it will allow you to have try on so many different brands to where you can kind of hone in on brands that really work for you in the level of style and cut and color and service. So you're able to kind of see that, and then from there you can see if they have more individualized stores or platforms that you can focus in and see on. So try those classics. I know they have all different kind of shopping centers and shopping hubs nowadays, but going to a good old classic mall with a department store, I don't know your status as far as income, but you know, they have department stores at all levels. You have discount department stores like a Target or a Ross. You have bigger department stores like JCPenney's or Dillard's or Macy's, and then you have some of those high-end like Neiman Marcus and Saks. But trying those places first, and they give you a ability to have a variety of brands that you can try, names that you can try, and then you can it'll help you kind of hone in on those brands. So I hope that was helpful. What are some brands or names that you really like? Or have you ever thought about that? If you use one of these tips and go to a department store, go ahead and comment down below and let me know if there's a particular brand that now stands out to you now that you thought about it. Again, like I always say, go ahead and like, subscribe, come back and comment, and then also just share with your friends if this is some videos that you really like. Again, I will see you on Monday for Spiritual Mondays. As always, I love you, God loves you, and have a blessed day, divas. Bye.